What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
We are super, super excited, blessed, and honored to have this individual with us today.
You may have seen some of his Netflix specials like Live from Seattle, Coming in Hot, or In His Elements. He's also the author of the new book, Mixed Plate, Chronicles of an All-American Combo, available March 23rd. Jo Koy. Jo, thank you for being on the podcast.
Oh, of course.
This
is fun.
He said, this is fun. We are so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you. Is my audio good or what?
Oh, you are great.
You're good.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
You are great.
So yeah, we actually went to your shows in December and in January when you were out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
And
we actually had a group of 14 with us in December.
Oh, jeez.
You know what?
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. So January was the 6th time that we went to go see you.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
every time that we go to see you, we try to tell people and we buy our tickets, but your shows sell out so
Sold
fast
out.
that nobody else can get tickets. So this time we ended up buying a bunch of tickets, and then we got a big group there. So it was awesome.
Yes.
That's so cool, man. Thank you.
You're
crazy
welcome.
It's crazy when people say that to me. I keep pinching myself when I hear that, but it's kind of like, can you add a show? It's sold out. And it's just, it's a really cool situation to be in. So I love my fans. They're so cool.
And what's so crazy is that everyone we invited this was their first time seeing you.
Oh, I love that even more.
Yes.
So
And-
now you got a whole bunch of
Yes.
new super fans.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
And the way that this all went down was, so in December and in January, we went, like I said, we went to the shows, but we also went and handed out some flyers for our podcast to the people that were leaving the shows.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we met Gemma in December, and we got our picture autographed by you, which we totally appreciate. Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
And we also know that you have a history with flyers and all that.
And that's what we want to talk to you about. Because so many people, they see your success. They see your wins, but they didn't see the struggle. They didn't see the challenges.
They never do.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
I think the key to success is just being happy with where you are anyways, right? So no matter what it is, because people think success is like money, financial, right?
Yeah.
It's not. Success is just doing what you love to do. And like you clock in and you're happy. You don't clock in going, I hate this place. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that clock into work and they're like, man, I wish I could be doing this, or I wish I was doing that. It's like, well, you can.
You could be.
That's the key to being successful in life is living out your dream and doing what you love passionately. It has nothing to do with finances. And whenever you're passionate about something, you take those strides forward. You do what it takes to keep it and maintain it. And one thing I loved about, I heard a story from Aerosmith, and they said that they made a bunch of flyers and put it and handed it out at a mall. Like they put it in windshields and stuff like that. And my whole thing was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's what you got to do. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard this a long time ago. And by the way, this is before there was Kinko's. So they were like, I don't know how they were printing these flyers, but they were putting flyers everywhere. And I was like, oh, that's what you got to do. You got to, if you want people to come, you got to let people know where you're at, And that was my first thing that I started doing was printing flyer. Like the very beginning of my journey in stand-up, I was literally at Kinko's like half the time just printing up. I don't even know. Do they even still have Kinko's? I don't even know.
I haven't seen one in forever.
I haven't seen one in forever. So for all you new kids out there, Kinko's was this place where you used to print flyers,
right?
Make Xerox copies. That was the thing before there was actual printers at home.
That's crazy.
And you have to cut them up into squares, because I remember I would put 4 flyers to a page just so I could have 4 flyers instead of just one big one. And I remember cutting them up yourself. You had to cut them up with this straight cutter, you know what I mean? And you cut them up, and I would literally go to the mall and stick them on windshields till I got chased off by security. And that was always my thing. Yeah, that was my
That's what we were thinking was going to happen to us at your show.
Huh? Yeah.
That's what we thought was going to happen to us at your show, because we went to every show and handed out flyers at every show, not just the one we attended. That's
the way to go, man. Like I'm telling you, like people when I first started at the Laugh Factory in LA, at the end of every show, I'd have a stack of flyers. I did it every show. And the comics would make fun of me. You know, I can name them too. I can name all the comics if you want. But they all made fun of me. And, you know, to this day, that's their story about me. Every time we run into each other, it's like, man, I remember when you used to stand outside and hand out those flyers. And now here you are selling out the Forum twice. I'm like,
hell yeah.
It's because I handed out those flyers.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
Hell yeah. You know what? Yeah. When I was growing up, I grew up in New York, and my dad used to throw parties. Like he was a party guy. Like he would rent a hall and then sell ticket, or people would come and pay their entrance. And it was kind of like a nightclub, but it was moving, you know?
Yeah.
And I was reading the cover to your new book, and I saw that your mom would have you do the Michael Jackson at Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, Knights of Columbus Hall.
When I grew up, that's where we started. And I was, I don't know, I may have been like 10 years old, and we used to take all the DJ equipment, and I was the one that would hook it all up because I loved it, and I learned all that stuff. I would hook it up for the DJs.
So hearing your story.
After that, because my dad was trying to grow it, he started making flyers to hand out. And when I was a kid, I might have been like 13. We used to print out 10,000 flyers and just in New York City, just handing out flyers to everybody to get this thing. Yeah. So knowing your story with the flyers and the grind, the hustle that you put into it, and you know, my own background, it was like, I got to do it.
Right.
You know, this is what we do.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is I don't stop too. It's like, you know, my sister. You mentioned my sister Gemma.
Yeah.
But to this day, I still print out 10, 15,000 flyers and hand them out. I don't care. People love tangible stuff.
Yeah.
People like to go home with something. You know, they love the memory, but they also like, oh man, look at this flyer. Like, oh, he signed this flyer. Like, dude, that's how you got to look at it, man. It's like, it's advertisement. Like, it's like you crush and now they want to tell their story. They want to tell people, oh, I saw this guy.
Yes.
Or if it's hanging on their cubicle, they got the flyer that you handed out at their cubicle. And like their coworkers, like, what's that? Who is that? And then they tell that story. That's all like marketing 101. It's like, you know what I mean?
So
but you also have to do it with the intent of not thinking that that's marketing. You also want to do it like because it's genuinely in your heart.
Yeah,
you know that you're passionate about it. Like I love the fact that my fans come up and ask for an autograph, and I love doing that, and I enjoy doing that.
That's something I wanted to talk to you about because after we got our bobblehead autographed from you,
the Funko,
yeah, the Funko, I sat there and I took a video of you. Signing autographs and talking to your fans, and I felt like a spiritual connection with you because you were very humble. Like you were so humble, and your heart is out there for everyone to see. And when I was talking to my husband, I told him, I'm like, you know what? He was 100% in his element. And that's when he told me, he's like, hey, that's
the name of the special on Netflix. Yeah.
You know, but that's what I loved about you. Like, it's just, you see the hustle. You know, you see where you're at today, but you're so humble and you're so
thank you.
Loving and just watching you, I felt that from you.
Oh, thank you. I think people, you know, when they get in this position, right? I think they forget, you know, I'm not naming any names, but you know, and it happens to the best of us, but you forget that, you know, I'll just speak for me. I used to work at Nordstrom Rack selling shoes. Yeah. It's like, hey, thank you, Nordstrom Rack, for giving me a job, but I'd never want to go back there. You know what I mean? Like, I'd never want to do that. And I'm living my best life and my best dream. And my son is taking care of his kids are taken care of. And it's like, my fans did that, man. Like, I love them for that. And that's my way of thanking them. Like, if I have to shake every single hand, I will. If I have to take every picture, I will. It's like, I'm living my dream right now.
Man, that gives... you know? That gives me belief. Like that gives us belief because of where we are now and where we see us going. And hearing your story makes us believe.
Well, you know what? I wanted to ask, when you were coming up and hustling and grinding, there's like these certain moments that make you feel like it's all like it's working and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that first moment where you were like, I'm doing something. It's happening.
Yeah, well, you know, first I will also say that coming up, there was a lot of moments where I was like, I want to quit.
Yeah.
Like I want to quit right now. My son is 2. My son I have to protect my son's future. You know, I was thinking like stuff like that. Like, I can't be this traveling $100 comic for my son. Like, I got to start thinking about health insurance for my son. There was all these factors. Wow. And of course, my mom just in my ear, like, you know, it's time to stop this thing that you're doing with comedy, Joseph. Like, and, you know, you hear that a lot and you believe her. You're like, well, she is right. Like, I have the responsibility as a dad now. Like, I got to be a dad.
Wow.
So there's a lot of times where I just wanted to quit, man. And then there was these situations where I was seeing my peers blow up, you know, people that I came up with.
Yeah.
Getting TV shows and getting hour specials and, you know, opening for big names. And, you know, I remember when I saw Gabe, you know, pulling up in 2 Hummers, one for him and one for his assistant. I was like, damn. I remember looking at Gabe like, yo, how did you get here?
He's like up in Oprah handing out Hummer. He's not just cars, he's getting everybody Hummers.
Yeah, but I just remember he had the PS at the time. I think it was the PS2 or something that was in it, or the PS3 or whatever was in there. But I just remember I was like, "You put a PlayStation in there?" You know, and it was just amazing to see him just blow up the way he did. But you know, there was that opportunity where I was like, to be, how do I say it? Like jealous. And envious. And I could have let that easily take over. Like, yo, what is Gabe doing that I can't do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
We're both hysterical. Why is he living like this? Like, I got a son to feed. Like, I could have done that. You know what I mean? I could have been that guy, but I didn't. I looked at Gabe's success, and I looked at Kevin's success. I looked at Chelsea's success.
Yeah.
You know, these are all my peers. These are all people that we were like,
all working at the same time.
At the same time, and then just rising like that. And I could have easily just went the envious route and hated and used all that energy the wrong way. And nothing would have happened for me. But instead, I looked at it as motivation. Like, oh, okay, he got that Hummer. I'm going to get 4. You know what I mean? Kevin's selling out arenas. Okay, I can sell out arenas. You know,
nice.
Chelsea got a TV show. I can get a TV show, because that's all people that's all. Whenever you see someone successful, just look at their success and go, oh, okay, they're showing you that it's possible.
Yes.
That's all they're showing you. Don't figure out the reason why they got it. Don't sit there and hate on them. Oh, the reason why he got it is because he's friends with this person. He knows his management is tied in with blah, blah. Shut up. No, he's there because he was passionate and it happened. So as long as you stay in your lane and stay passionate, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, Joe, what was that thing, though, that kept you in? Because you hear about this, like, why? You know, what is your why? What kept you in? What kept you grounded? Was it your son, having your son? Well, you did mention having him, you know.
I'm sorry, but this pretzel is amazing.
I love pretzels. Where's the cheese?
Dude, I'm telling you, this is the best pretzel.
Crushing it. Where's it from?
Something like gourmet pretzel place. I don't even know. It was like $10 a pretzel. I was like, this is amazing. my ex-wife got it for me.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, awesome. She lives right down the street. She walked in here right before we started. She came in and brought me these pretzels. I'm just like, this is amazing, man.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So you
anyways, where were we? What was it that catapulted me, right? I think every year there was this every year was there was a moment that made me realize that I'm on the right path, right? Like a lot of people don't like little what am I trying to say? Just like little hints of like success.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people look at it and go, oh, that's not what I want. No, that's what you want. Those are baby steps.
Yeah. That's
a lot of people see it like, oh, yeah, that's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, it is a big deal. Everything's a big deal. And celebrate everything. Everything that happens in your life, celebrate.
That's
Even
good.
if it's small, celebrate it. You know, a lot of people like knock down positive energy because it's just not what they really want. It's like, oh, I got a meeting. Oh, I got a meeting with this executive and they want to do a movie with me. But I mean, we'll see what happens. It's like, no, you don't say that.
Yeah.
There's an executive that is interested in you, and there's someone in Hollywood that wants to make a movie with you. That's success. Like, that's exactly what you want. You want someone to see you, and they're starting to see you. So that's that baby step. Yeah, you might not get a movie yet, but there's someone looking at you.
Yeah.
So you got to celebrate those moments.
Celebrate the little wins.
Celebrate those. Yeah, they don't want to celebrate that moment about talking to an exec. They only want to wait for the movie to actually come out to celebrate. Well, then what's life? What's your journey? Why can't you enjoy everything that's happening? Yeah, you're not going to be happy with anything then.
Yeah, because when you look back at it, I mean, those are the things that you're celebrating. Those are the happy moments. Yeah. It's the hard times that you look back on and like, man, that was when it happened. Like,
yeah, man.
That's what made the difference.
Yeah.
There was sorry.
When I got Montreal, Robbie Praw, I love you. Robbie Praw is the booker for Montreal. Montreal is like the World Series for stand-up comics, right? It's a hard thing to get to. Only a few comics get invited, and that's even like the top level comics to the guys that don't even have a name yet. To be invited to Montreal, which is a comedy festival in Montreal, Canada, and to be invited to this thing is it's a big moment in your career. Things could change. Every executive is there, every comedy club booker is there, every comic is there, from Dave Chappelle down to, not down time. To, but like down to me, to like from Dennis Miller to Brian Regan to everyone. It's just every comic is there for a whole week.
Yeah.
And from around the world, and it's huge. And the thing is, the people of Montreal support it. So every show sold out. It's a festival.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Every show is sold out, no matter what you're on, and when you're coming up, and you go to Montreal, they put you in these themed shows, you know what I mean? Like up and coming, new faces and blah, 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 themed shows, and they're sold out. And there's always an exec there to see you. There's always somebody from the industry there that's just trying to find the newest thing. And I remember when I finally got Montreal, it took me 3 years to get in, 3 sets of auditions. They kept passing me. And then they finally passed me to go. And then I did New Faces at Montreal. And right when I walked off stage, Ross and Bob Reed and Ross Marks, and they walked up to me and they go, "You got the Tonight Show. That set. We want that set on the Tonight Show." By the way, I'm working at Nordstrom Rack at the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I remember walking on stage, and literally it was just like I got off stage and they both ran up to me and they go, "We want that set and we want that on the Tonight Show." And they go, "And by the way, you're the only comic we've actually offered anything for the Tonight Show."
Wow.
During this festival. Yeah, it was kind of cool, man. And here's another one of those things where it's like celebrate the moments, right?
Yes.
Because I remember telling all my comic friends, I go, "Yo, I got the Tonight Show." And they were all treating it like, "Oh yeah, but it's not the same, it's not like how it was with Johnny." They were saying stuff like that. Is this, "Oh, at least you'll get tape." They weren't really like, "Yes, congrats."
Happy for you.
It was it was kind of like a whatever,
like
just do it.
Like a backhanded compliment.
Not really backhanded. It was more like, "Okay, good for you, but don't think anything's gonna happen." Like that's how they were acting, and
yeah.
Whatever, I didn't look at it that way. I was like, this is the biggest show on TV still.
Yep.
And it's finally my moment to be on prime time. This is the Tonight Show. This is the world famous Tonight Show. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah, a show's bigger than a show's big when the name of the show is bigger than the host.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's called the Tonight Show with, you know what I mean?
Right.
They will replace you soon. Don't get me wrong, the hosts are always great, but the show is legend, you know what I mean? It's still legend. So anyways, I do the Tonight Show and I get that standing ovation, and I'm still working at Nordstrom Rack, by the way. So I get the standing ovation on the Tonight Show. This is before YouTube popped off and all that stuff. So he was still getting, I'll make up a number, but I'll just say like in the tens of millions of viewers, right? So we'll say that. It's about 10 million. Let's just say it. And the reason why I say it's such a high number is because I never seen so many people walk up to me and say they saw me on the Tonight Show the night before. And I was getting shoes for people. So at Nordstrom Rack, they grab the shoe from the floor, they give it to me, and I go get the mate in the back. And every other person was like, oh my God, I saw you on the Tonight Show. You were so funny, man. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they're like, can I get this in a size 7? And then I'm just right back to reality. Like, oh my God. But that was that moment. That's when I was like,
wow.
Oh, it's happening.
That's awesome.
It was the Tonight Show. I tell Jay that all the time. I'm like, Jay, you changed my life, man.
Well, you know what, Joe? There, like you said, there's these moments that happen, and man, I've been out at like 1 o'clock. I travel for work sometimes, and there was one time I went to Connecticut, and I had to fly out the next day early in the morning, and that night I was like, I have a backpack full of flyers, and I'm not leaving Connecticut until I get all these flyers out. Yeah. So I left my hotel at 10 o'clock at night, and I started handing out flyers. And I have a Facebook Live. My wife saw me just walking the streets like a hooker, like I say, just handing out flyers. But having you on the podcast today, is that moment for us.
Yes.
You know, when you're out in a parking lot handing out flyers, and people that you know see you. I mean, we saw people that we knew at one of your other shows, and they're like, what are you doing here? And you're handing out flyers.
Right. But
having you here is that moment for us. So we
that's dope. My sister. Okay, here. Just in case people don't understand the hustle of handing out a flyer, because everyone's like, "Why are you making a flyer? Just make a flyer on Instagram and just hit send." That it's not the same. Believe me, that gets scrolled past real quick. You want to physically reach people that aren't following you. You want to get people that don't know you. You want anybody to just look at it for half a second. Some of them. It's a numbers thing, right? You hand out 1,000, if 2 people go to it, you won.
Yep.
It's a small percentage, but you won.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's the price you got to pay. That's the investment, right? So here's a perfect example of how successful your flyers are, right? Aww. I don't know how many you printed. Well, I think maybe let's just say you printed out 10,000. By the way, I don't want anyone to take what I'm talking about is the key to success are flyers. You know what I mean? You want to make it in business? Get a flyer. No, right. Flyer is just one small element to everything.
Yes.
Just be passionate about everything. The flyers, the hustle, the grind, you performing every week, staying consistent, making content, just staying in that zone, in that pocket. So the flyers is just one element. But let me tell you what your flyers did. The first time I went, my sister at the end of the show, my sister at the end of the show, she had me sign something for you in the green room. And you know how the restrictions are. Usually I'll walk out, right? But right now the clubs are, they're kind of being looked at, as far as how entertainment is being handled. So it's like they don't really like me going out there and interacting. So, that's the only reason why I had to stay in the green room. So but I told my sister, if someone wants me to sign something, bring it back. So anyways, long story short, she brought me your flyer and something else to sign.
The picture here.
Yeah, I think I signed that, right?
Yep, you did.
Yeah, and then there it is. Yeah, it's signed. And then she gave me one of your flyers. Like I signed one and she gave me one. So this is what your flyer did, right? It goes into my bag in the green room, right? I looked at it. Of course I looked at it. And then I put it in the bag. Like I didn't disrespect it. I didn't throw it in the trash, right? I put it in my bag. Then I traveled back home to it, right? And then I decided to do another week, right? Because I'm working on that hour. So I went back, right? Yep. Your flyer went back with me because I never unpacked my bag, right? So the flyer actually went back. And then you guys came again, right?
Yep.
And so now, I see a lot of people, right? But for some reason, when I went through my bag, I saw the flyer again. I was like, oh, so now you're in my head again, right? So then I go to the second set of shows and I saw you walk up to the side, right? When I was standing outside, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then I think you came up to me and handed me a flyer again, right?
I showed you a picture, a screenshot of the podcast that's right. with your picture hanging.
Yeah. So at that moment, that's when I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Aww.
I'm gonna do this with them, because I saw like that never give up attitude, like that should go unnoticed. So and when I saw you do that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this pod. I remember telling my assistant, I was like, yeah, make sure you reach out to them and let's get this going. I think I even told you that. I was like, I'm gonna do this, man.
Yeah. You said send it to me. Send me the pictures. You said DM me the pictures.
Yeah. And yeah, man, that's what it's all about, man. Staying consistent. It's a numbers thing, right?
Yeah,
just keep
definitely
doing it. My favorite flyer moment is when I used to hand out these flyers, because I used to talk about my son heavy When he was like 1-2 years old. I used to do the whole daddy, da da da, all that stuff. It was like a whole big part of my act, ting ting, and all that, right? And then so my flyers were just a picture of my son crying.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. Yeah.
No information on it. It just said, I think at the time it was jokoy.com at the bottom. There was no Facebook, no IG, none of that. Just jokoy.com in the bottom, subliminal. You could barely see it. And just this white picture of my son crying. And to me, that, I wanted to hand it out. And when people looked at it and go, is this who you're talking about? I wanted that. And it was such a cool picture that I wanted people to actually put it up, like hang it up. Because it was a really cute picture of my son crying.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to keep it like, I didn't want this whole flyer of a bunch of information and blah, blah, blah. And like 9 pictures of me, like no one cares, right? I wanted someone to like just see the picture of my son crying and then start that conversation.
It's like a frame of reference.
Whether it be with me, like, oh my God, is this your son? Or when they go back to the office and put it up on the wall and someone goes, who's that kid crying? Oh, there's this comedian. He talks about his son.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what I mean?
That's next level.
Yeah.
That's next level.
That was my whole idea behind that card. My favorite, there's 2 stories on that, right? So my favorite, because I used to make it my DVD cover. I used to make a bootleg DVD too, by the way. And I used to sell those for like $5. Sometimes I would just give them for free.
So funny.
And then, so I have 2 stories. One, I'm opening for Russell Peters in Times Square, right? Like somewhere in New York. We just got out of some theater in Times Square. This is a long time ago. And everyone at the end of the show is taking pictures with Russell because we went to go eat at like the Olive Garden or something like that. It's in Times Square, right?
Yeah.
And so we're walking to the Olive Garden. These people start rolling up to Russ. By the way, I have no TV specials, no nothing, right? So and they start taking pictures with Russell. And I'm just standing there just watching it, just admiring it. Like, yo, this is dope, right? Like, yo, I can't wait for this to happen for me, right?
Wow.
I've even taken pictures for him, you know what I mean? And then as I'm taking pictures for him, for who he's taking pictures with, this New York cop pulls up on a bike cop pulls up, right? And he goes, yo, my man. He goes, you're Jo Koy, right? I go, yeah. He goes, me and my wife were in LA and we went to that Laugh Factory and we saw you perform, man. You're amazing. And I remember going, Russell, listen to this guy. I got a fan. I got a fan. He goes, no, seriously, man. I love your stuff, man. Aww. He goes, you used to hand out cards, right? You still hand out cards? I go, I still hand out cards. He goes, I kept it. And he opened up his wallet and it was in his wallet.
Man.
Damn. That is crazy.
He pulled out the card and it was just like, that's the win. If I sold out, if I sent out 1 million cards and only one person has that card, I won.
Yeah.
Like this guy has that card. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Yeah, we see.
I go, if this guy has my card for I don't know how many years in his wallet, like how many stories has he told?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was so cool. And then there was this one where I do DVDs. I used to burn DVDs, like blank DVDs with all like stuff I did on TV or even like a set that I did on stage. And I used to burn them. And I used to make these fake DVDs. My friend worked at Blockbuster Video. You guys probably don't remember, but it was like a video rental store. And they used to throw away those black
the cases?
those black cases. They used to throw those away in garbage bags full. Yeah. Right. So I asked him, Chris, can I have those bags? And he would give me bags, like hundreds and hundreds of those covers. And then I went and got the DVD slip professionally made. Yeah. I even scanned the DVD logo and a barcode on it. Nice. Like legit. Like I made it look like a legit DVD. And I would sell them for $5. And then like at the end of the week, if I had a stack that I didn't sell, I would just hand them out. Because my whole theory was, if you go home with merchandise, then no one in that town's going to remember you, right? That was always my mentality. Yeah. Why go home with it? I'd rather give it away for free and let these people talk about me. So every Sunday I would just give away my merch. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And just, like here, just give it. I tell people on stage, yo, you want shirts? Come see me after. And I would just hand shirts out. You know what I mean? It was like a radio show. You know how radio shows, they throw, so that's what I was handing stuff out. Yep. Yeah. So anyways, I was doing a huge show, man. I can't remember where I was, but it was like an arena. I was playing like an arena, like 10,000 people, right? And this lady walks up to me, and it's my DVD. She's like, I still got it. And then she opens it. It's signed. I'm like, oh my gosh. She goes, yeah. She goes, I put this on display right by the TV.
That's awesome.
I want you to sign this again. And she goes, you know what we never did with it? We never took a picture with it. And like, I was like, dude, this is amazing. So like, that's why I do that's why I do the flyer thing. That's why I like to hand out stuff. Like,
love it.
That tangible stuff, man. Like creating memories for people, man. So yeah, that's why I'm sorry. That's a long story.
No, it's all good. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I know you have a lot of things going on, and you're very busy.
Yes. We love you.
And we appreciate the time that you've given us.
Yes. We know that's the one thing you can't get back in life. And so this means the world to us, Joe.
And we had
you guys are awesome.
Yes.
We had so many of our listeners that we've kind of mentioned it to them, like, hey, we may get Jo Koy on the podcast, and we can't mention everybody, but a huge shout out, huge hi, and and love from everybody that watches our show. Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joel.
I love you.
We love you.
Thank you so much.
All right,
we'll see you. Hey, next time you're in town, we'll see you. We'll be there for sure.
Yes.
Done. Love you guys.
love you, Joel. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Man.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm in tears.
That is crazy.
He's so humble. And that's the thing that I love about him, is that when somebody else wins, he's there to cheer them on. You know, like he's happy. And that's why he's so blessed, because he continues to bless others. Like when you listen to his podcast, you get that from him. Yeah. Like this wasn't about him.
Yeah. And there was so much, like we had so much to get into, and we didn't get into hardly any of it, but that's just how it goes. I mean, we that happens with us when we're talking, right? We'll have a plan and then we just go off. But no, it was awesome, and a huge shout out, huge thank you to Jo Koy.
Appreciate
and like that, you could see it in him, like with all his success, with everything that he's done, like he's real. I mean, just the fact that he came onto our show just shows you the type of person that he is.
And he's humble, and him sharing, just the hustle. Like we've heard him mention the hustle in his podcast. But knowing and feeling that everything that we're doing, the time that we're taking away from the kids, the time that, this is going to make me cry, the time that we're taking away from, visiting those that we love, because there's so much going on in our life right now that it's going to be worth it. And this is our beginning. And I feel it. Like I feel it in my soul that this is just the beginning.
Yeah, these are like I was telling Joe, like these are those moments. Like this is that moment for us. This is one of those moments, and I mean, this is we've had a couple before, with people that have supported the podcast and things happen. And it's like, you know what, we can do this. We got to keep going. People believe in us,
right?
But this is another one, and this is a big one. To have somebody like Jo Koy on our podcast shows us that we're doing the right things,
right? And that's like he confirmed it, like. The flyers, like what our flyer did.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
to hear what he
think
thought
about it.
Yeah. And when I was handing out flyers in Connecticut, like I was telling him at 1 a.m. or whatever, there were some people that just the fact that I was out there doing it, they're like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I respect the fact that you're out here hustling. I'm gonna listen and give it a shot.
Yes.
But there was one thing that I wanted to mention with just having Jo Koy on the podcast. There's times when we're trying to do something, like we're building something, or you guys out there listening, if you have a dream, if you're trying to build something, and when we first started this podcast, right, I had a vision for it. And I've talked about it here, like things that I want to do for the future. And when you look at where we are, or if you know us personally, like maybe watching our show, you don't really know us personally, but the things that we want to do and the things that we've talked about are still quite a bit far out. Like the podcasting compound that I want to build with the houses and the studio and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
That sounds insane.
Yes.
This sounds crazy.
Right.
You know what sounds crazy? Being a podcast like us and having Jo Koy on the podcast. The thing is that people will look at you like, you're going to do what? But it's these little moments. You can't tell me shit now. You know what I mean? You can't tell me shit. Because whatever I see for this, I know we can do it.
Yes. when you talk to me about doing this for a living, like this for me is the next step, because you have the vision of what this podcast can do for me. And it's weird because you're the one that has a job. Like I have a business, you know, and mine is trading my service.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I provide a service and they pay me for my service.
Yeah.
But to get paid for just being me, I don't think I'm all that great. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's hard for me to believe that this is what we could do for a living. That we can go.
Just trying to talk and help people.
Yes. Like it's hard for me to believe that, because I don't think I'm all like it's hard for me to believe. But seeing this helps me to believe.
Well, we've been working and you know, for some people, for those of you guys out there that are working on something, you can't, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, there's certain things when maybe you should redirect your focus or whatever, but there's things that you do that sometimes you get certain signs and it's like, keep pushing. Don't stop. Kind of like Joe was saying, like those moments that you want to quit, but there's things that happen. It's like, you know what? I'm going to keep going and see what happens. And then when you keep going, something happens. And like he was saying, it may be a small thing and you don't want to disregard it. Celebrate that and keep going. Let that motivate you to keep going for the next thing.
Yes.
You know? And I was kind of thinking about like the whole sounding crazy thing. You know, like when we started this podcast, I was thinking to obviously Jo Koy is our favorite comedian. Mm-hmm. And when we started this podcast, I'm talking about before the first episode came out. In my head, I was like, we're going to get some comedians on the podcast because I love comedy.
I've never heard you.
But specifically, Jo Koy. Mm-hmm. Like one day, and we may have to get super famous to do it or whatever, but we're going to do it.
Yes.
And it'll be fun. Now, you tell people about that before your first episode, before any of that shit, and you sound like a maniac. Yes. Now, when you look at somebody like Elon Musk and the things that he's done, when he's like, I'm going to start drilling holes underneath LA and make a transit system, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's insane. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to colonize. He fucking said, I'm going to colonize Mars. Do you know what that means? Like send people and like, that's where they live now. Yeah. Colonize Mars. He wants to colonize Mars. When you first tell somebody something like that, what are they thinking?
Yeah, you're nuts.
This guy's fucking crazy. But guess what? He's building rockets. He's sending fucking cars to space. What are you going to tell Elon Musk that he can't do?
Yeah, they think they're crazy until it's done. And then once it's done, like he said, it's almost like, you know, the people before us, right? The people before us that have successful podcasts. Or maybe it's a social media, like a business social media, like a YouTuber. And you see them having success.
Yeah.
And it gives us believe that, you know what? We can do this. Yeah. And we will do this. You know, and you hear it over and over again that the only way to fail is to quit.
Yeah. Yeah, that a lot of times these little wins, these things, if you stop, they're not going to come and it's not going to propel you to the next thing. Yeah. So sometimes you just got to stick with it for a little bit longer and then something's going to happen that's going to keep you going.
Well, the one thing he said that we don't do, that we need to start doing, is celebrating the little wins.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know?
Maybe
like passing out the flyers. Like passing out the flyers.
Maybe celebrating them a little bit more. Because like we'll get a little win and I'm like, yay, let's get back to work. You know what I mean? I got videos to edit, you know?
Yeah, but no, it's just like celebrating the little wins, like passing out flyers. Like, oh, hey, we passed out flyers tonight. Let's go have a drink or let's go. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's not like celebrating them all out, but celebrating the little wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because that's something that I've never done. Even with the current business that we have, that's not something that I do.
Well, I can tell you something that we can do. We can celebrate having Jo Koy on the podcast this time. Man, so cool.
Yes, and you can feel his heart. Like when he's talking, you can feel him.
Yeah.
You know, that he's real, authentic, and so humble and willing to help.
Yeah.
And willing to help.
Yeah. Really awesome. It was great.
Yeah. We thank you guys for just being here and supporting us and sharing our podcast, because you guys are witnessing our journey. You know, those of you that have been following us for 2 years, you're witnessing our struggles. We talk about our struggles.
And if you got a flyer from us, hold on to it.
Yes.
Hold on to it.
Yes. And if you want our autographs, just let us know. We'll autograph it now before we get like super, super busy. No.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But it's cool because this is something like, you know, his bobblehead and have his autograph. I mean, like that's something that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so little, but it's something that he's willing to do that a lot of artists really
may not do.
Right.
Yeah. And it's something that, you know, maybe it's a figure. It's a figurine, or that maybe just a picture. But knowing that it was given to us and it was signed, like it makes it more like something that is special.
It's real. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You know, so it's cool. But yeah, it was super awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll just at this point, you know, we can.
So let's share with you all at the beginning. Miguel and I were we were nervous, so nervous. I grabbed Miguel's hand to hold it, you know, and
dude, we did the intro like 100 times.
Yes. And it's so ridiculous because it's like we've done the intro over 100 times and on number 97,
we're still fucking it up.
But I couldn't get it right? Yeah. Like I could not get that shit right.
We're stumbling over the words.
I just told him, I'm like, when I'm nervous like
this.
Dude,
there was times that we would be practicing and I would turn to you or you turn to me. And then it's just like all of a sudden,
we just forgot what to say.
We're just like blinking and looking at each other like, I had a brain dump. Like, I don't remember anything. You're like, that's your part.
Yes. I had that feeling that I had when I started doing public speaking. And those of you that are watching this, you know that you rather die than get in front of a room and speak. And that came back to me, you know, just feeling my heart. I could hear my heart in my headphones.
But you know what? Joe was great at like just putting you at ease.
He was. You know, right. Because cool. Before we even started recording, we were telling him we're super nervous. Like my hands are sweating. And he's like, why? Yeah. Right? He was like, why? And Miguel's like, because you're Jo Koy. And he's like, like, you know, like.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
I mean, and that's him. Yes. You know? But and now, go ahead.
And that's something that I feel that we will always have.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yeah. So, and now that we've had Jo Koy and the podcast is going to blow up or whatever, you guys can go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, share it with the people that you know, share this episode with them so that they can listen to the interview with Jo Koy. And if you go to our website on the computer or on the mobile phone, you can click on the support the show tab, or if you're on your phone, you can click the menu button and go to support the show. And you'll see a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency. We do a lot of work for title companies and law firms. If you are looking to purchase, sell, or refinance a house, you can request us to be your mobile notary agency to help you close on that loan.
Excellent. And if you want to go to Trust Inc. directly, you can go to the website. That's trustinkusa.com. And when you go to the Support the Show tab, you'll also see link to Amazon, and anything that you purchase through that link doesn't cost you anything more, but it helps out the show. We get a couple pennies. And we're also affiliates with Libsyn, which is who hosts our podcast. If you guys have thought about starting a podcast, if you have a hobby that you want to talk about, you can go to Libsyn, that's Libsyn, and use promo code OAP for Opposites Attract Podcast, and you'll get whatever month you sign up in for free, and you'll get the next month for free for trying out Libsyn, so you can get your podcast started.
Yes.
One last thing is, the resource list is on our website, and the country songs are also on the website. Right. So if you want the resource list, you can go to
Let's talk about this resource list. So,
yeah, go for it.
This resource list, what it is, Miguel and I, we have been through many struggles, many obstacles, and we turn to personal development, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a book, or audio. And so this is the beginning of our resource list with just a few books and stuff that we've read that have been able to help us with our struggles that we've had.
Yeah, different things, whether it's
marriage,
parenting, business, life, all kinds of stuff. And there's some, we put some videos in there that have helped us out along the way with some useful information.
Yes.
So yeah, you can download that if you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. You'll see the pop-up, and if you enter your email and your name, it'll take you to the link to download the resource list, and you'll also see the country songs on there.
Yes.
Both of them are on there from the last podcast. So you guys can, or 2 podcasts ago now.
Yeah.
You guys can check that out.
Yeah. Miguel's starting a new album now. No.
The new country album. I needed some country sound effects.
You do.
Right?
You do.
But yeah, so there's this song. So we were hanging out one night and we're just, chilling, talking, and we playing some music in the background. So you were on YouTube, I think, YouTube Music, and you started playing some stuff. And we're just kind of talking, like I said, chilling. And then all of a sudden a song comes on.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, we're bobbing our head and like the beat is cool. And we're like,
yes.
But what are they saying?
What you're talking about now.
Like I hear an accent.
Yes.
Like this is different. But it sounds good,
right.
So
catchy beat.
Yeah,
Very
so we
catchy
check
beat.
it and there's this song called Skechers.
We need to play it. Oh, we need to play it the next podcast.
Look it up.
Yeah, but it won't sound good if we
No, I'm not
play it on
saying
my
I'm not
phone.
saying play it. I'm just saying look it up so that we can tell them the artist. It's drip something. Just look it up on YouTube, Skechers. But it is a song from India and it's actually pretty catchy. I was showing it to Ruby and Juan.
It's her birthday today.
Is it?
Yes.
When we're recording this?
Yes.
Well, this is coming out on Sunday, but
yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, love.
Ruby. But yeah, we showed them the song. It's super funny. But it's from India. It's this dude it's like a rap song from India, and it's called Skechers. And it's all about this girl that he sees, and she wears Skechers, and they light up, the light up ones.
Yes.
And it's by Drip Report, Skechers.
Okay.
You guys definitely have to check it out. It's a hilarious video. It's great. But one of the reasons why I bring it up is because when I start looking at our podcast stuff, like we have a following in India.
Oh, a huge following,
It's
actually.
crazy.
Yes.
So, hey, we're down with the Skechers music video.
We should remake it.
Yeah,
I'll buy me some light up Skechers.
And I'll chase you around. The light up ones. But, oh, man, it's funny. Drip Report, Skechers. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
The kids loved it.
Yeah.
Get me some light up Skechers, baby.
So,
man, this is so
speaking
real.
about Ruby, we had your birthday a couple weeks ago, and we had your birthday present. We wanted to share it with you guys.
Check it out, everybody. Isn't it beautiful?
So they made us a little shadow
box.
A shadow box
it's a
with
shadow
the
box.
podcast logo.
Yes,
For your birthday. And it's got the Spotify code, so you can scan it.
Yes.
And go right to Spotify.
Thank you, Ruby. We love it.
So awesome. We appreciate
We're
it.
thanking her for a gift from me.
Yeah.
On her birthday.
On your birthday.
On my birthday. Her birthday.
On her birthday for your birthday.
Yes.
Nice.
Say that 5 times. Man, I'm still in shock, babe.
Are you?
I am. This is just, it's so real.
It's awesome.
It is so real.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm sure, the first of many.
Yeah. No, we'll email Joe when this is all done and thank him, and who knows, maybe we'll see him back.
Yes.
We'll see what happens. But we also have some other things planned. This is not the end of it. I mean, Joe is a big deal. This is not the end of what we're doing with this podcast. So make sure you guys stick around and stay tuned.
For what's coming next.
One other thing I wanted to mention is my stepdad, he had to get some heart surgery. Mm-hmm. And he's doing great.
Good.
He's recovering. He said he's a little sore, but he's doing awesome. And he was I talked to him this morning, and he was telling me that when he was going into the room, to the operating room and everything, that they asked him, like, what kind of music do you listen to? Mm-hmm. And he said, I don't really listen to music. And they're just like,
right.
You don't listen to music?
Who doesn't listen to music, right?
So they're like, so what do you listen to? He's like, I listen more to talk radio. And he gets more,
like talk radio. What's that?
And one of the girls or the ladies that's in there, she's like, oh, I listen to podcasts. And he's like, oh, my son and my daughter-in-law have a podcast.
Aww.
It's called Opposites Attract Podcast.
That's so cool.
And a couple people in there, they're like, oh, we'll check it out.
And he's just about to have surgery, by the way. He's on the surgery bed.
Yeah. And he's telling people about our podcast.
Marketing for us. And and that's it, though. Those are, when you realize that you're helping or making a difference in somebody else's life. Like it's something that they like, that they want to share. You know, that's mind blowing. Like when I get calls from people that I know saying, hey, I'm listening to your podcast. Matter of fact, I'm going back to the very first one.
Yeah.
You know, and re-listening. Or the new people that are new listeners that actually go back because they want to hear us from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you can see and hear the change.
The difference.
Yes.
That's something we should maybe listen to.
Yes.
That's kind of weird though, listening to yourself. It is weird.
But you know what?
But we should do it.
It's our life.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about this podcast is that if something were to ever
tell
happen
people
to
why
us,
our podcast is so cool. Tell them.
If something ever happens to us, our kids have a documentary on our lives and their lives, you know?
Yeah, because we've been talking shit on
beautiful.
the podcast.
Some of them they may not want to listen to. Oh my God.
Right.
Because we were like super open, you know? But that's what's good about this podcast. Like I want us to be 100% authentic, 100% real. Like when we are going through issues in life, not to sugarcoat it, but to let people know like this is what we're going through.
This is life.
And these are some of the things that we've done to help us overcome those situations, because marriage is not perfect. Parenting is not perfect. Being an entrepreneur is not perfect. Like nothing's perfect. There's struggles in every win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the thing is that if you didn't have the struggles, the win wouldn't be as good.
You wouldn't appreciate the wins.
I mean, you do look at that moment when you won, but you also, I mean, just as much as that moment when you won, you also look at what it took to win. And you celebrate that just as much as that moment when you actually won.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think it's almost the same emotions, because I'm thinking about it right now. Like having Joe on the podcast is a big win for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel just as strongly about being out there and handing out the flyers, about staying up late and designing stuff, and like all the other shit
that comes with.
It makes me feel like I'm fucking getting after it now.
And that's what he mentioned. That's what Joe mentioned, is being passionate about all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Even the things that you don't like to do, because that is leading us to where we are going.
Yeah.
We may not see it at the time.
Well, he was talking about working at Nordstrom Rack. You know,
Yes.
I have a job now, and there are times when you feel like, man, I wish that I could just do what I want to do. Like there's things that I don't want to do. But the thing is that you got to do those things
Yes.
as best you can, because even though you don't like doing these things, this is what's going to help you get to these next levels. You know what? We're talking to Joe, and I'm thinking jujitsu sometimes. You know, like, well, he was talking about like the successes, like the comedians around him were having success.
Right.
Right. And I was thinking in jujitsu sometimes, like there's a time when people are starting to get promoted, right? And sometimes we're all lined up, and it's like, you come here, stripe. You come here, stripe. And then I'm next. And it goes, next person. You come here, get a stripe.
Right.
And they didn't pick me.
Right.
And like he was talking about, sometimes you're just like, what? How's he getting a stripe? I fucking tapped him yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the wrong attitude.
Right.
That's the wrong fucking attitude. You know, well, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same, but the way I look at it, all these other guys that got stripes, they're my friends. Why would I freaking hate on them being successful?
Right.
Like, yeah, I didn't get a stripe.
It's celebrating other people's wins.
But you got a stripe, and I'm fucking happy for you.
Yes. And it's not just saying it because you want to sound good. It's feeling it. And that's what makes the difference.
And the other thing is that, look, if the guy next to me got a stripe and the guy after me got a stripe, stripes are coming around. The stripes are coming around. And if I stick around, I got one coming. And not only that,
when it's your time.
If you keep training and touring with the guys that are getting stripes and having success,
Yep.
It's only a matter of time until you get your stripe or your next belt or your next special or your next whatever. Don't hate. Stick with those people.
Right.
And work with them. Be happy for them.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
It's so backwards sometimes.
Yes.
You know?
And I don't understand it. I've never understood that. I just never understood that. And learning that when I became an entrepreneur, just learning that. I started to learn it once I became an entrepreneur. Yeah. And I had people that were happy for my success.
Yeah.
Then I had others that were not. And some friendships were lost, you know, because of it, which is sad. Like, I don't get it because, again,
it hurts sometimes when you think that somebody would be happy for you and you notice that it's not like I would have been happy for you.
Right.
You know, it's kind of sad sometimes.
There's different people. That's it. You know, we just got to focus on whether, you know, we're doing the right thing.
Yep.
And focus on continuing to grow.
Yeah. You can't spend a lot of time on that. If you got plans, if you're getting busy, if you're moving to a different, you know, position in your life or a different level or whatever, you can't spend a lot of time on that stuff. Stay focused on what you need to be focused on. But the whole thing about not forgetting where you came from, obviously, Joe, that's something that he hasn't forgotten. Yeah, it's just remember the hustle, the grind when you didn't have it.
And help them reach the top of the mountain as well.
Yep.
Be willing to lend a helping hand to lift others up that are wanting to go up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Back to jiu-jitsu. This is going to be a Jo Koy jiu-jitsu podcast. Last night, coach was talking about it. You know, when you're a higher belt or you have more skill, you've been around and you know some things, and you get a new person and you're training with them, you know, you could just like destroy them, right? I mean, put them in a shitty spot, make them super uncomfortable, and then tap them out.
Yeah.
Right? But that doesn't help you because they're not really giving you as much of a challenge. Like, put them in a little bit of a bad spot and see what they do. And if they don't do the right thing, then you help them. Help them do the right thing. Help them get better. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, and that's what it's all about. And when this thing gets to that level, you know, we're going to be helping people come up too.
Yes.
You know, that's what it's all about. Just helping people.
This was amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
Congratulations, babe.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Love you.
Congratulations to us. No, but one thing that I did want to mention is that not today. We're recording this on the 18th, but yesterday, February 17th, which we didn't get to talk to Jo Koy about, would have been cool. But February 17th is actually Jo Koy Day in his hometown.
Yep.
In his hometown of Seattle, Tacoma, Washington.
Yes. And
the mayor gave him a key to the city. He just posted a video on his Instagram. Make sure you guys go follow Jo Koy. But he posted a video on his Instagram of the mayor giving him the key to the city and them naming February 17th Jo Koy Day in his hometown. And watching that video, kind of what we were talking about just a little while ago. I mean, up until this point, like the truth is, we've seen Jo Koy specials. We've been, like we said, to a bunch of his shows. You know, we ordered the book. I mean, we're fans of Jo Koy. But when we went to the show in December, we didn't meet him. We handed out flyers.
Right.
I met his sister, and like Joe was saying, she took the stuff to the green room. So we didn't actually meet him. He signed the stuff, and we appreciate it. And then in January, we did the same thing again, but that's when we actually met Jo Koy, and it might have been like, I mean, he was busy signing autographs. Right. So he's talking to other people, and we get it. It's not like he's going to take 10 minutes to talk to us. It's like, hey, so I showed him the picture real quick, and he's like, love it, send it to me. That was the extent of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we've been communicating with, you know, his people to get this thing going, but today was the first time that we've actually had any interaction really with him.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But watching that thing about Jo Koy Day, it made us happy.
Yeah.
Like happy for him, happy for his success, for everything that he's like. I mean, we posted on there like, dude, you deserve it. Congratulations. You know, it's cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? I think a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but for some people, that holds them back from
reaching their success.
From reaching their own success.
Yeah. Having a bitter heart. You
Yeah.
know?
I don't. Yeah. Life's a lot better when you're not like that. I'm just saying.
Life's a lot better when you're happy. No.
Yeah.
And it's hard to it's just, it's not having it, knowing that challenges are going to come, but not to be emotionally connected to the challenges or the obstacles, and know that you're going to win. Like, you're going to win.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you don't give up.
So crazy.
That day will come.
Yep.
If you just believing, but also putting the activity into place.
Yeah.
Because if you never handed out flyers, if we never handed out flyers, we wouldn't, I don't think we would have gotten this opportunity.
Well, that kind of goes to that book or the documentary or whatever you want to call it, The Secret, that was very popular like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was talking about like, you have to visualize. If
Right.
you have to visualize, if you can see it, then it's yours.
And I get that though, because you do have to visualize.
That is true.
But
there's
an and.
You know what? This is the thing. That documentary specifically, like I've heard people talk about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if I've heard Jo talk about it, Jo Koy, but I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it. I've heard other people talk about it, and they're like, dude, that's bullshit. Like, really. Because if you think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it, this shit's not going to happen.
Right. Like you're sitting on your couch thinking about it, hoping that it's going to happen.
That documentary, The Secret, that should have been half of the documentary. Mm-hmm. That, like, literally, it should have been half. Half of it is thinking that you're going to be successful. There is
visualizing
it in your head, undeniable that you're going to become successful. That should have been half. Mm-hmm. The other half is get up off your ass and get to fucking work.
Is it time yet?
Almost.
Okay. So I was watching one of Joe's podcasts and he was talking about that.
Yeah.
Like Tiffany
Haddish.
Yeah. Tiffany Haddish. Like, she was talking about she was going to be famous way at the very, very beginning.
Guys, go look up Tiffany Haddish's story. Fucking crazy. A crazy success story.
And she said it. She felt it. She knew it. But she was also doing the activity. Like, he talked about her wearing the same outfit on many, many shows. But she didn't give a shit because she knew where she was going. And he was on the sidelines clapping. You know,
hell yeah. Cheering.
Yeah, cheering her. He was her cheerleader, you know? And then things started to happen. Like, it started to unfold for her.
Yeah.
No one knew at the time when she started, when she was saying she was going to be famous, that she was homeless. Like, nobody didn't, they didn't know that. She
would get off stage wearing the same thing every night and then go to her car.
And sleep in her car.
And sleep in it. That's what he said.
Right. And when people would ask like how she was doing, she would mention she was
nobody
struggling.
Had any idea.
But that's it. That was it. Nobody knew. And so when Jo Koy said he learned about it, like, he was floored.
You know what?
What?
When I was in Connecticut, that's kind of the pride part of it. I knew that the people that I went to Connecticut with for work were sleeping. I knew that at midnight they were sleeping so that they could catch the flight the next day. Mm. And I knew that I was on the street, not sleeping, working. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's a different mentality. I mean, you know, they're not doing what I'm doing, but that's what most people are doing.
Where that comes from? You know what I'm saying? Where does that hustle come from? You know, where do we get that from? Because I grew up and we didn't really get much into Joe's story, but maybe when we get him on,
you know what, in the
future, he can share with us that. Like, did he come from poverty the way we came from poverty?
Wait, but you know what I think it might be?
What?
Jo Koy's mom came from the Philippines.
That's right.
I grew up with my dad and my grandmother for the most part. They came from Ecuador. They were born in Ecuador, lived in Ecuador until they moved here. So I don't know if it's like, because you hear it all the time. Like you look at the millionaires and the successful people that are in the United States, a lot of times they come from other places, move here, live here for years, and then have success because they're coming here for opportunity. And you know what? That's another thing. There's so much shit that's happening in this country. So much shit, so much negative stuff that people talk about and all that other shit. But you know what? If you want to fucking make it, where do you go? What's the one fucking country in the world that you go? You come here. This is the land of opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
This is where you come to have success. But when you come from another country, when you get here, you're like, I can have it all. Because you know where you came from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's what it is.
I don't know. Because, I mean, my mom is from here.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Joe's mom's not from here. My dad's not from here.
But my mom's from here, and I have the hustle.
You do. Yeah, you do have the hustle.
You know? So is it us that come from nothing?
But it's also, I mean, for me, it's like the influence from people that weren't from here. Do you know what I mean? Like they're trying to make it here. And you kind of see them. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like if you live here or you've been here your whole life and your whole family's from here, it's almost kind of like you've seen it generation after generation. Like you almost take it for granted.
Yeah.
But when you know where your family came from, it's like I have an opportunity here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally get it.
I don't know if that's what it is. But before we get out of here, you know, this has been an incredible podcast, an incredible episode. Thank you so much to Jo Koy. Make sure you guys go and pick up the book, Mixed Plate, Chronicles of an All-American Combo, March 23rd. You can get it. I mean, we bought our copy on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles everywhere. You can go to jokoy.com, jokoy.com, and check him out. Try and get a ticket to one of his shows. It's not easy, but you can see if they got something available. But like Joe was talking about with the comedians that he used to tour with, and like I was saying with the people that we train jiu-jitsu with, if people around you are having success, be happy for their success because your success is coming.
Right.
Success is around. It's in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you might be next. But I don't think it usually happens when you're bitter and when you're hating on other people's success. So
go support your local businesses or your friends or your family. Definitely. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. And with that,
make sure you guys
next time.
Make sure you guys go to oppositestrackpodcast.com, share with those that you know. And thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love.
This is just the beginning.
And until next time.
Bye.